Oh, we got Tristan's favorite track, so I guess that means we have to start.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 6 of Valanaria Chronicles, Trial and Rectification. When last we were with our intrepid heroes working Gaz, that was episode 3, episode 3, yes. That was the heist-ish, according to Derek's character Rook. It wasn't much of a heist, but it involved Gaz the rogue attempting to retrieve an important piece of paper, diplomatic immunity paper, for an official of a kingdom called Dullistad, which is not nearby. And apparently this thug named Alpheus, who's been running a protection sort of racket in the area of the Badlands, keeps him from getting arrested. However, the paperwork is very vaguely worded, and so who knows how he got it. So Gaz has obtained that piece of paper partially with the aid of a mysterious halfling bard named Fredegar, who happened to be in the same tavern, and in the ensuing brawl in which the paladin Rook completely just bloodied the nose and decked the leader of the protection racket, Alpheus.
He started it?
Right, yeah. I mean, he got what was coming to him, and then also Fredegar got himself involved by helping out.
I do think it's funny that I don't think Gaz himself really noticed the help. Like, he noticed that he felt like more confident, and like, I know he mentioned it to Rook after they got out of there, but he definitely didn't know why. So the only thing he knows about Fredegar is that Fredegar came to defend him when the foreman came after him.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that happened from your viewpoint. Random guy who helped you out. And the next morning was the trial for Alpheus, and of course the political system in Trapper's Camp involves 3 foremen, that's their official title, who run the town or camp or whatever you want to call it, which is all centered around a well in the center of the Badlands. The trial was presided over by Foreman Conner, and then Alpheus did quickly get found guilty, after which Fredegar, who's been sort of hanging around Rook, Gaz, and their friend Barton the Trapper, they went outside, and at which point the cliffhanger ending of episode 3 was Foreman Reeve walked up and said, "Hey, I'm going to arrest Gaz because he stole something from Alpheus." And they were saying, you know, this paper says I have diplomatic immunity, you can't arrest me. And Foreman Reeve said, well, you're not paying me, and Alpheus is, so here we are. At which point Foreman Conner appeared and whispered something to Gaz along the lines of, go along with it, it'll serve as a nice distraction while I investigate Foreman Reeve for corruption. So he's got a plan where first off, you need a public defender who is a respected member of the community and not you. And Fredegar is the closest thing to that, since people like his music and they've been enjoying it for almost a week at this point. He's going to be the representative for Gaz. Meanwhile, Rook is going to go with Foreman Conner and do an investigation of the corruption that Foreman Reeve, Alpheus, and who knows who else is kind of knee-deep in. That's where we are. We are at the beginning of the next day. Not much has happened since the last episode. All we know is that everyone has been told to wait. So Gaz and Fredegar have had some time to have a preliminary meeting about the trial, which should be open and shut, right? And then Rook has not been told anything further by Conner, except that in the morning the two of them are going to go off and do something together. It's now morning. Fredegar and Gaz need to head towards the courthouse. Barton is going to go with them. At that point, Foreman Reeve will oversee the trial. Alpheus, as far as we know, is out of the picture, and Foreman Conner is going to, I guess, make contact with Rook in some way. I guess what we'll start with is Fredegar. When you meet up with Gaz, you notice the man named Barton, the Trapper, is with Gaz, and he was with Gaz yesterday as well at the trial, and they seem pretty buddy-buddy, as much as one can be. in this area, and he has not acknowledged you, although he has seen you.
All right.
Now, as they go into, and we're going to go back and forth, as they go into the courthouse, there is a knock on your door, Rook, as you were asked to stay in your room. And quickly you hear Connor's voice saying, hey, open up.
All right, I'll go to the door and open it up.
Are you ready to bust some heads?
Sure. Who's, where, why?
Who's, where, and why? Let me see if I can get the order right here. Who's, I don't know yet. Where, I don't know yet. Why? Well, I know that one because Alpheus, something regarding their corruption scheme that they've been up to. See, I don't really know. I know exactly who the ringleaders are. We're talking Reeve and Alpheus, but beyond that, you and I are going to go together and we're going to find out. The trial is going to be our cover.
You don't know a lot.
I only just last week became aware this was going on.
Well, beats sitting here doing nothing. Lead the way.
He leads you through some back streets. He mentions that he's had a man on the inside, as it were, who's been observing comings and goings, and he's in the Foreman Conner's been able to piece some things together based off of that, so he knows where where you should start, but that's it. Now, meanwhile, in the courthouse, it doesn't take long before a fair crowd has arrived in the meeting house. Gaz and Fredegar are seated near the front, and then beside them is an empty chair, and then at the front of the building, presiding over everything, is Foreman Reeve, I guess the back of the building, and he quickly calls things into order. Says, as bestowed upon me as a foreman of Trapper's Camp, I call this trial to order. And he bangs on his table with a rock, which is, I guess, the best they can come up with. And he says, this trial is to ascertain the guilt of the individual known as Gaz for the crime of theft. His public defender is the halfling Fredegar. And then he gives Fredegar an opportunity to make an opening statement.
I want to know where they got my name.
The gaffer?
Where they got my name.
Oh. You had to give it to...
I never gave my real name in this town.
Well, what name would you have given them?
The one that I had given was Gizarm.
Gizarn. Okay. Then that's the one he's using.
Oh, okay.
At this point, maybe with Gaz's help, with Tristan's help, filling in some blanks, it is... Hold on. Oh, Wizarm. I see it now. This is the time where Fredegar is going to make an opening statement. This should be based off of whatever the two characters discussed. So if you guys want to discuss that now, you can, and then I'll need an opening statement from Fredegar.
All right, Fred. We gotta be tight friends now.
Okay.
You gotta defend me. So, here's what we know. That this guy, whose name literally just jumped out of my head right when I needed it.
Alpheus.
That's the one. He had this piece of paper, and all it says on it is, whoever has this piece of paper has diplomatic immunity.
Ooh. I'm going to give you the text of the paper.
Thank you.
I meant to do that. I'm going to send it to you now.
And while he was hanging on to while Alpheus was hanging on to the paper, none of the law would touch him. And then when he lost the paper, the motley crew here, the militia, was willing to arrest him. But now that I am holding the paper, it doesn't work. So why is there a difference?
Question.
Your question for the court.
We know that the that the whole trial is basically to stall, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, you were assured by the good guy that there's no chance of Gaz being found guilty, but overall it is kind of a stalling thing.
Okay. So, basically we know, well, once we get those, yeah, because if the paper uses his name, that's our defense is kind of out the window. But,
Okay, I've sent the paper text to Tristan.
Right. And so while we won't necessarily be able to prove beyond shadows of doubt that he was just here being a dick, what we can prove is that this piece of paper is for a very specific purpose, which he was not serving. Because as it reads, the bearer of this document is a representative of the Kingdom of Dolostad on a diplomatic mission to Avrin, and they shall be granted diplomatic immunity on this mission. Apparently, where it says Avrin is partially scratched out and not easy to read at first glance. So, if he needed to flash it at anybody, they would catch representative of Dolostad and diplomatic immunity, but not see that he needed to go somewhere else. So, I mean, you know, we can get this thing all bound up in the system by making them go to Dolostad to find out what the truth is.
Yeah, it's Dolostad, and he's on a mission to where?
Avrin.
So Dolostad is a kingdom on the other side of the Dwarf Mountains, and then Avrin is actually the capital of the region that you were headed towards.
Okay. About how far are we from Avrin?
Well over a week.
Okay.
It's longer to get across the mountains and get to Dolostad.
And how long has Alpheus been at Trapper's Camp?
Ooh, that's a question you'll want to find out, isn't it?
Who?
I did ask around about him, and I had tried to find that information, but it's been several weeks since we played.
Okay, yes, I remember now. You talked to the guy Smith, the tavern keep. I'll say you got the information there. It's been about a little over 2 months since Alpheus was even a known quantity in this area, at which point he quickly set up his protection racket with 2 goons.
Right. All right, so about 2 months. For some reason, I had 6 months in my mind, but yeah, 2 months.
Okay. So, I think we could argue is that Alpheus's immunity should be voided because of the misuse of the document. But
Alpheus doesn't have any immunity as long as he doesn't have the document. It literally just says whoever has the document has immunity. Alpheus isn't the problem here. I'm the problem here. And by I'm the problem here, I mean the foreman is the problem.
Well, I'm trying to think of, So
Alpheus is already in custody. What we're here to do is to get them all tangled up in the bureaucracy of figuring out who's granting this immunity and for what purpose, and prove that it hasn't been used for the right purpose.
Okay.
There's an interesting angle to take with it, because supposedly this is just a trial for Gaz stealing a piece of paper, but I like this angle here.
Hey man, I found that piece of paper on the ground. I was on the ground, he was on the ground, the paper was on the ground, we were all on the ground. That's all I know.
Okay, so...
And I was soused.
Let's see. Quote unquote.
Ask anybody in that tavern. I was
So
done.
let's see. We're gonna bluff because I've had a pretty good streak with that. We're gonna bluff that we're actually agents from Avrin. And that we came to investigate whether or not Dolostad's, I guess it would be some sort of ambassador, maybe.
I mean, if it were me, I would steer clear of anything that they can prove isn't true. And all they have to do is ask Dolostad if we're, representatives of Dullestad. Dullestad will say, no, I've never seen them before in my life. But if we say, hey, that dude is supposed to be a representative of Dullestad because he had the paper that says he is, and hasn't been doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah. And he's a week away from Ivern, and he's been a week away from Ivern for 2 months.
2 months, yeah. I would stick with that angle.
Yeah. Well,
I like your thinking about getting things more twisty, but we don't want to make the twisty with us having a problem with an even bigger kingdom.
I guess all I'm worried about is in a place like Trapper's Keep, what can we convince them is our reason for caring that Alpheus is not who he says he is and isn't doing what he's supposed to do?
I mean, really, we don't. What we care about is that the law isn't being upheld equally, that Alpheus had the piece of paper that said that he should be left alone, and he was, and now I have the piece of paper that says I should be left alone, and I'm not.
Sure, let's roll with that. Okay, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, good afternoon. My name is Fredegar Goodbarrel. I am but a humble bard. Or let's rewind. I'm a humble nomad. No one needs to know I'm a bard. I'm just a humble nomad, raised in a caring tribe of halflings. And if there's anything that halflings love, it's justice. And what we have here today is a gross miscarriage of justice. Now, the document in question is supposed to grant its holder diplomatic immunity. Now, we've seen that for the last 2 months or so, this has worked to Alpheus's advantage. Now, he's no longer in possession of the document, which we cannot prove even belonged to Alpheus, but all of a sudden, it no longer grants diplomatic immunity. Now, either the court needs to respect the immunity, or they need to realize that the law was being skewed in Alpheus's favor and find us innocent. Call your first witness. Mic drop.
I like it. Okay, I will give an opposing statement as Reeve, and then we're going to cut over and see what is going on with Rook. Serious side mission. Reeve gets up from the table, since he also gets to be not just the judge, but also the jury, and also the person convincing the jury, the prosecutor. Gets up and he gets in front of the courtroom in the area where you walk around talking all grandly. And with his opening statement, he says, "A law has been broken. Regardless of the legalities of the doings of the now convicted Alpheus, that issue has already been taken care of yesterday. He is answered for his crimes. What I am addressing today is that a law has been broken. No matter how much we think that we know what's best, and that we think that we know that our way is going to be the best way, the law is tantamount. And when a member of our community, or in his case, points at Jizarm, he says, not even a member of our community, takes matters into their own hands, literally in their own hands, then it is up to us to uphold justice and the law. If it is wrong for Alpheus to have diplomatic immunity from a paper that may or may not be theirs, the same will apply to this individual." And that is his opening argument. I keep getting dropped frames. Oh well.
I'm gonna pull Fredegar closer to me and whisper in his ear. I imagine we're near each other?
Yeah, you're sitting next to each other.
Okay, so like if I imagine a standard like modern courtroom, and we're in the defendant
Thereabouts, yeah.
table, you know, I have my counsel, and it's my counsel and me at the table. I'm gonna go with yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull them. You attack that argument because he said the law is tantamount, but he didn't say what it was tantamount to. The word he was looking for is paramount. You just take that argument apart because he doesn't know the language.
Maybe he chose the wrong word in whatever common language it is as well. In Oldenarian, he said the wrong word.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Oh, goodness.
You keep using it. All right, Rook. The lead that Foreman Conner has is he stumbled upon a record that didn't seem right when he was looking into some things last week that seemed fishy. And he's hoping that he can follow that lead with your help. The problem is that Foreman Reeve has what he refers to as deputies that are keeping watch over the record room suddenly in the past few days. And Connor's never seen these people before, and he's pretty certain they're just thugs that have been hired by Reeve to keep people from getting into the record room for the foreseeable future to whatever end. So he's hoping you can help him out with that.
So I'm hearing that I'm going to be deputized, and I'm coming along to replace those that are currently guarding.
He likes that plan. He wants you to end their commission, as it were.
We're going to unalive them.
Makes me
No,
think
Deadpool. Keep it away.
there's a YouTube video. Make them breathe a lot less. Yes.
We're not unaliving them. We're not sleeping with the fishes. We are not K-wording them.
It's however you want to go about it. He's going to follow your lead because he is not a fighter.
So what I'm hearing. So now what I'm hearing is it's supposed to be me against 3 armed thugs by myself.
2. Just 2.
Just 2.
Yeah, and your assessment as you look them over from a distance is all they've got really going for them is equipment.
Okay. Well, that's more than I've got going for me, so this is gonna go great. Right, this is the next day, right?
Yes.
Okay, then I at least get 1 hit point back. I'm gonna need it. I am no longer bloodied.
Oh, the healing
boy.
thing, the hit points thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Being level 1 kind of sucks for that.
yeah, I'm going to address that, actually, because it has been almost a day and a half at this point since you got to Trapper's Camp. I'm going to say that you did get access to another healing potion that Barton made appear for you.
Okay.
And that healed you for 6 hit points.
Dope. That's the rest of my health.
Oh, sweet. So basically, Connor's going to follow your lead if you want to do this covertly. No one's around. Everyone's at the courthouse. If you want to just walk up and smack them, if you want to do something sneaky. The main thing is he needs to get in that building and take a closer look at the records, because he was interrupted last time.
All right. Then I will tell it's Foreman Conner, right?
Yes.
I'll tell him to hang back while I try and deal with the 2 out front. I'll tell him that what my plan is. I intend to go up and tell one of them that I'm here to replace him, like to relieve him, and then once he's gone, I'll just knock the other one out.
I like it.
So, I shall commence with the plan.
All right. So you're walking up to them and telling one of them that you are there to relieve them.
Yes, I was sent by Reeves.
Yes. Make your bluff check.
I wish it could be diplomacy, but this obviously isn't true. Okay, that's a 22, because natural 20.
Oh, I wasn't aware that he had hired more people, but all right, where should I go?
Just back to what you were saying, he'll be by with the rest of your payments.
I'm
soon.
just done for the day. Well, wow, I'm gonna go get blasted. The other one seems confused, but I mean, you were very convincing, so. Says, well, how's it going?
Going good. I'll just kind of chat it up for a minute, get him at ease, and then I will try and knock him out once he's distracted by something.
Okay.
I'm sure something will come along.
He introduces himself, engages in some idle chit-chat, and then eventually just sort of looks off in the other direction, keeping watch down the street. He's not leaving, he's just looking down the street.
And Paul will strike.
Wump.
Okay, describe what you're going to do.
I'm going to just slightly lift my greatsword, so it's not really the type of thing you can sheathe. You just really kind of rest it on your shoulder and beat him with the pommel of it over the head.
Sounds good. Make your attack.
I got a 15.
Okay, that hits.
Am I allowed to roll am I allowed to make this non-lethal because of how I'm describing it, even though it's a lethal weapon?
This is an unlethal attack.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So do I roll full damage, or are there any modifiers to that?
We'll go full damage. Based
Okay.
off the weight of the weapon.
Um, 9 points of damage.
Okay, he is currently laying on the ground.
I'll signal for the other foreman to come out of hiding.
Conner says, "Wow, I didn't expect that, but hey, good job."
I do.
Can I just say that, like, in my mind, I imagined that this other guard was, like, bearing his soul to him for a minute. Like, yeah, I'm just trying to make a living for my family, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then he just gets bashed. Skull gets bashed in with a sword hilt.
I'm envisioning something more along the lines of, do you ever wonder why we're here?
Yes!
One of life's great mysteries, isn't it?
No. Why are we here in this canyon?
So we don't attract any attention. How about you help me get this guy into the building?
Oh, yes, okay. No checks needed on that. With the two of you, it's fairly easy. Still, there's no witnesses. Everyone is either in home or watching the trial. That is currently very interesting and taking unexpected turns. Now that you are in the building, we're going to go back to the trial now.
All right, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick while they do that.
All right. The first witness to the stand being called by the prosecution is someone that was present for the tavern brawl. It is not either of the goons. It's just a random person that either of you may have seen in the tavern, but he was just a random person who says, "Yes, I was there." And the Foreman Reeve questions him and says, "Were you in the tavern 2 nights ago?" And he says, "Yes." And they're establishing things like Alpheus was there in the middle of the room, and then Jazarm walked in, staggered in, and got excited over the music, made a request of music, and then knocked over Alpheus, after which a fight ensued. Alpheus did not have the paper. So that's sort of the line of questioning as Reeve is leading the witness to say that obviously Gaz came in with the intent to knock over Alpheus and take his paper. He's like very, very hard leading the witness.
That's ridiculous. I'm gonna like call it my counsel
I
over
object.
again. Like, that's
Leading the
ridiculous. I
witness.
was completely obliterated yesterday. I don't even remember seeing this man.
Now here's the part where you can consult with each other and then you can cross-examine the witness. Because the simple fact is, even though what they've said is spot on, they're reaching because there's no way that Reeve knows that's what happened. They're reaching to find a way to pin it on you.
All right. Are you good at this cross-examination stuff? You got this, right? Right, Fred?
We'll see.
Do you need my help? I don't think I'm allowed to help. Do you need my help?
See.
We're allowed to consult with each other.
Okay. I can tell you right now, I don't know this guy, so how could he possibly know what my motives are?
Well, and I know that, well, I guess I don't know. Except for the fact that I was there, but, he had the paper before the brawl happened. So if this guy never actually saw him steal a paper, how do we know that was the paper he stole? Bingo.
So you're going to...
Is that what we go with, or?
Yaz, do you approve of that?
Gizarm?
I mean, if he had the paper and then he didn't have the paper and there was a brawl, any number of things could have happened. Did he see the paper change hands? I didn't. I was drunk.
There we go. All right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and question the witness. If he actually saw a paper change hands during some sort of exchange between the two men.
I did not.
I will gesture wildly towards the witness and retake my seat. I mean, there it is. He didn't see the paper.
Okay. It's an interesting defense. Like, Foreman Reeve went out of his way to paint Gaz as this malicious ne'er-do-well, was the word of episode 4. Yes. Going in there with the intent, maybe even drunkenly, to assault this man who at the time had not been found guilty and was therefore innocent at the time. And then you're saying you didn't see the paper, so why are you a witness?
Exactly.
I like it. We will go to the next witness, but first we're gonna have more of the Rook situation, as we will call it. Conner asks you to keep guard, and he goes back into the paperwork that he's been looking at, and sure enough, he finds something, and he says, "Look at this! Look at this! Maybe Rook is still in the bathroom."
I'm totally confused. I'm like, who's talking to whom now? What happened?
Derek. I hope you're okay.
It doesn't usually take him this long to get a drink.
Do what?
I said it doesn't usually take him very long to get a drink.
Oh, that's what he was doing. I'll go to the second witness. How about that?
Okay.
We'll just come back to him later.
Okay.
At this point, Foreman Reeve calls the second witness. He has not said who he's going to call, but he actually calls the defense, Fredegar, to the stand. He says, "You were in the Good Tavern on the night of the incident, were you not?"
You'll have to remind me which is the Good Tavern.
In the parlance of the camp, not to offend any parties who may be present, there is a tavern referred to as the Good Tavern.
I seem to remember being back and forth between both taverns, playing my music several times this week.
But 2 nights ago, you were in the Good Tavern, were you not?
I was.
Do you recall seeing this individual, and he waves his arm at Gaz, when you were there that night?
Yes, he requested a song from me.
Yes, that has been established. Do you not recall when the individual who was currently being on trial assaulting Alpheus.
Oh no, what I remember is a very drunk tavern dweller simply having a trip, and then our friend Alpheus just seemed to overreact just a tad.
And can you describe in more detail this incident involving the trip?
I can't. It was, I didn't see when the fall happened, but I did see the brawl that ensued. I wasn't aware the brawl was on trial.
We are merely establishing facts, Mr. Gar.
Good barrel.
Mr. Goodbarrel, we're merely establishing facts. He's also really trying to lead you into saying things. Do you believe that in the ensuing chaos after the said assault and then the brawl that followed, that there was ample opportunity for the defendant to obtain the paper in question?
Oh, well, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm of shorter stature, so what I might deem ample opportunity might seem like more or less of an opportunity for some.
I will reiterate my question. In the ensuing chaos, is it possible that anyone in the room could have stolen the paper?
He's really backing me into a corner here, isn't he?
Is there a problem with saying that anybody could have taken it?
Well, I suppose one of his friends at the table with him might have also tried to steal the document.
That is possible. Now, can you describe for me which individuals were nearest Alpheus when the brawl began?
Well, I was towards the, I guess would be the back corner of the tavern. So I was perhaps a table length away. The defendant was also there when he tripped. And then our friend Alpheus had two of his associates at the table with him as well.
Okay, thank you. In the unusual circumstances, the defendant may actually do the cross-examination.
Who are they cross-examining?
He's allowing you to cross-examine.
Oh, okay, cool. Well then, I will stand up and straighten my jacket to make myself look more presentable. I'll say, Mr. Fredegar, is it?
Yes, sir.
Is it ever been your experience to know what this exact piece of paper looks like?
I've never seen the paper before today, sir, no.
So if someone were to show it to you right now, you would be unable to identify if it is, in fact, the paper in question?
That seems reasonable.
And how long have you been acquaintances of Mr. Alpheus?
I only blew into town less than a week ago.
If I told you he was in this crowd right now, could you find him?
Well, I've seen Alpheus, yes.
Very good. And the person in question in this case, when did you meet the defendant?
We met yesterday.
Indeed. And so, in the time that you have known the defendant, excluding what time things were exchanged in order to come up with a palpable defense, were you then aware of the defendant's intent upon entering the town? Do you know if the defendant was already aware of Alpheus?
I don't know who's aware of who in this town. I'm just a wandering musician.
So, if the defendant had not prior engagement with Alpheus, what would he possibly have as a motive for attacking this individual?
None that I would know of.
Indeed. And that is key, of course, that you would know of. It is possible that the defendant knew him ahead of time, but you are unaware of that.
I can't think of any possibilities, sir. No.
Very good. Now, I want to know about what you know about this town. If something is lying on the ground and someone picks it up, are they then put on trial for stealing if they were unaware of the owner of said object?
No, that doesn't seem right.
Objection, says Foreman Reeve. The witness is not a law official or expert.
Well then, can we have a law official or expert answer the question?
I'd assume you look to the judge.
Yes,
or something.
the Foreman Reeve says we will have a short recess to discuss this. Hey, mission accomplished, right?
We got to recess.
Yep.
So we'll have the recess discussion in a second. We're going to move over to Rook, who has returned. You are currently the watchman for whether anyone is going to return to the record house. But Foreman Conner says, "Oh, I found it after about 15 minutes. Hey, Rook, was it? Come take a look at this paper."
Oh, come take a look. What is it?
It's a document from about 2.5 months ago, back in the winter, that involved a transaction, and it's been stuffed away in a drawer that he was having a hard time finding, which is not where it should be kept. But it involved a transaction between Foreman Reeve and Alpheus. And it was a transaction that it's all like worded in a way that you're not sure why the money changed hands, but money changed hands from Alpheus to Reeve in exchange for it's unsure, but he's pretty sure that that's the beginnings of whatever it was that happened. And then he found another piece of paper that was a shipment that was being sent out, signed by Foreman Reeve from a week prior to that. That was apparently a burial order of some kind for 2 individuals whose names do not seem familiar.
Does it say where they were buried?
They were being sent to a remote location. It's called. Hold on. Pull up my map real quick. Here it is. Found it. Okay. The document was paying someone to transport 2 bodies for burial. It's clearly some aspects of it are falsified because it's supposedly the expense of the family of the deceased. Trying to find a map that has the name of the location real quick. They were sent to Sanction, which is a little bit of travel north in the Badlands, where supposedly the family lived. However, Conner says, I know a fair amount of people in Sanction, and I've never heard these names before. This doesn't seem right, that 2 people just ended up dead and were shipped off to Sanction to be buried. And then not that long afterwards, we get a transaction between Alpheus and Reeve before I even knew Alpheus existed.
Those 2 are likely from Dolstad. The ones with the paper originally.
It would stand to reason that might involve the paper from Dolstad.
Holy plot twist.
So how do you want to proceed? I'm not sure. This is pretty heavy stuff right now. I guess we could look more in here, or we could actually just go straight into Foreman Reeve's home.
I think we should look around here a little more. If we found this much, there may be more. But I think we also need to make sure we get this information to... let's see. Tristan, how do you say your character's cover name?
Gizarm?
We also need to get this information to Gizarm's not defendant, lawyer, since I can't think of a different word for it.
Counsel, public defender.
Counsel, public defender. Yeah, that's what I was like.
What are you proposing?
Well, if we could get to them, if there's any type of wonkiness in the rulings, they could use it to pressure Reeve to, stick to the rules unless he wants to have them applied to him.
Are we proposing some sort of blackmail to halt the trial?
Not necessarily. I'd like to get Reeves arrested, but my first priority is trying to make sure I'd say the cover name, Gizar, gets out of this in one piece. As he's done nothing wrong.
Conner is fairly certain that he can ensure that this trial does not go badly for Gizarm. Sorry, Tristan, I said Gizarm because I was thinking like it was a French spelling, G-U-I.
I do believe that Gizarm is a French word.
Gotcha.
It's pronounced Gizarm, though. I know that that's what the gendarme. I don't know. I'll look it up. Anyway.
Doesn't matter that much. Conner wants to know if you think it would be prudent to just break and enter in Foreman Reeve's home and see if we can find more evidence.
Well, you cut off there. You said something blank, more evidence.
Breaking and entering is what he's proposing. He wants to know if it's a good idea to just infiltrate Reeve's home.
Well, it may provide more evidence. Without at least the consent of the other foreman, I don't think we'd be able to use it against him in any type of legal fashion. It would just be blackmail at that point.
That's true. You are a paladin. That makes you, what, a paragon of law or something? Maybe you could suggest the proper way to go about this?
This is your city. You know the laws here better than I.
It is true.
What would be the proper order if you wanted to try and have a legal way to search his house?
Well, that's the thing. It's all very subjective. I focus more on local comings and goings. I oversee a lot of the commerce, not so much the law aspects of things. And as far as I know, we don't have anything written that makes evidence inadmissible based off of how you obtain it.
Well then, I guess we have some evidence to collect.
Okay then. What are we going to do about this guy?
So we can still use it for a good cause. I see no reason not to.
He points at the body of the unconscious man and says, what are we going to do about this guy, the family man?
I mean, he'll wake up in couple hours? He'll be fine.
I hope not. I hope he doesn't wake up in a couple hours. That means brain damage.
I'm just going off of the 5th edition rules. I don't actually know what the rules would be for someone waking up from unconsciousness like this.
I don't either. I just know movies tend to portray it as a lot longer than it should be.
I know that as well. I was just trying to go off the mechanics.
What if we bound him? We could do that, right? Do we have time?
I mean, A, let me check my pack. B, for what reason? He's no longer guarding anything from us.
You think he knows that you knocked him out?
I mean, it's possible. You know, something knocked him out.
I guess you're right.
You could sit there, wait for him to wake up and say, whoa, somebody knocked all of us out.
You mean like Community?
We all got chloroformed.
I suppose we could take him to the tavern or something and just say we found this guy passed out in the street.
Ooh, we could dump ale on his face.
That seems like a bit much.
Hey, I already said I'm a commerce guy. I'm a merchant.
Well, I don't have anything to bind him with, so that's out of the question.
You don't think that we should just save time and, you know...
I'm not killing someone that's defenseless.
Okay, I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, bad ones.
Memory loss and brain damage covereth a multitude of sins. Why is the chat not showing up?
Because it doesn't love us.
That usually resets it. If that pops up. Yep, it works now.
Yay.
I like your idea about the tavern. If you do that, then you could meet me down the street, and then we'll continue.
Yeah. Sounds good. So
He goes and he scouts ahead.
I'll try and take him to the closer tavern, which I'd expect is probably the good tavern if we're near an official records building.
Okay.
And say, this guy was, I'm not sure if he got hit by a rock or what, but he seems to have passed down the street. Maybe the sun got to him. Could I just set him here someplace where he might recover more gently, as opposed to just lying in the street?
I suppose so, says the woman who runs the tavern.
Thank you. I'll just, set him down in a chair.
Thank you, I guess.
I'd offer you gold, but, well, frankly, I'm broke.
Very well.
Hopefully he'll buy something when he wakes up.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be thirsty. We're going to move on to the trial. The trial needs to have 3 witnesses. The third one gets to be called by the defense.
Gets to be called by the defense, huh? Who should we call as our witness?
Can't
Also, what
suppose
happens
it
to
would be
the,
the other foreman?
Do what? Oh, we had to do the recess, didn't we?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go back to the trial and do the recess.
Oh, okay.
You had a question that you were asking.
That caused the recess. I wanted to get an expert witness because when I asked the question about the legality of picking up something that is on the ground, I was told that Fredegar could not answer.
Yes. That is...
Does finding something count as stealing it?
Yeah, there's a term for it in legal terms, and it's where you are asking for someone to... On one hand, you could ask them just a simple question about a subject as an expert, and on the other hand, you have to avoid getting them to actually make the ruling. But in this case, he doesn't even want him to answer the question because he's not a legal expert, because he's trying to stop you from questioning your friend. So in the recess, he says, are you wanting to call as your witness a legal expert? Is that what, or are you wanting me to make an exception and bring in a legal expert?
Well, you told me that I can't ask you made it clear that I could not ask this question of our man Fredegar, sir, but I think that it is pertinent to the discussion of my actions, or rather the charges being brought against my person, that we know what the legal case is for this exact situation.
If you give me 1 hour, I can extend the recess, and I can have someone draw up a copy of applicable laws to the case, and then we can end the recess, resume the trial, and have it read aloud for the courtroom, and then continue with the trial.
I am going to sense motive on him. Because I have a sneaking suspicion he's just going to make up a law that says that it's illegal. is not a great roll.
So you're having a hard time getting a read on him.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, I got a 4.
Ouch.
Oof.
It's a bad roll.
So you don't get a good read on his motives here.
But he is the dirty foreman, right?
Yes.
Yes, while it is not a part of the current trial, my character has no reason to believe that whatever he's offering is going to be anything on this side of legitimate.
Do you have a counter proposal or an amendment to his proposal?
It seems to me, in my limited experience with Trapper's Camp, that the laws and order of this place are upheld by a militia, and I imagine that means that there are people in this town who do know what is and is not permissible here, so that they can properly enforce it. I would like to select one of those people who is part of the militia at random to speak at length on the subject as an expert.
Very well. That will be an additional witness I will allow you to call before you call your final witness. But it won't make any difference.
Of course.
He is going to arrange for everyone that is regularly called upon as militia to be present when the trial resumes. He's going to extend the recess by 30 minutes to do that, and then you will choose one at random.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Fredegar, you know the people in here, in this town, better than I do. You should select the witness that we will question.
are you telling Fredegar that?
Yeah, I'm telling Fredegar that in confidence.
Okay.
Oh. Oof.
You can do some sort of roll when it happens.
I mean, yeah, I guess I would. I've got local knowledge trained.
Okay.
Suppose I could roll for that.
So we're going to move over to Rook and the breaking and entering portion of the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Conner is waiting for you, Rook, and he says, I think that we can get one of these windows open if we try hard enough.
Does it seem to be any lock, or is it just stuck?
Well, I tried the front door and it is locked, but I imagine that any one of these windows we could either just push on as hard as we can or just break it.
Well, I'll say, let me see if I can break the lock from the outside. Usually if you push hard enough against the direction it's supposed to be going, it'll snap.
Okay, he's going to have you do that with a strength check.
$15.
That's adequate. You're able to get it open without breaking it. And he volunteers to go in first. He is going to make a move silently check. And then I will need one from you.
Perhaps I should. What's my move side? Let's see here. Oh joy. Well, prepare to meet Team Clank.
What'd you get?
I rolled a 7, so that's a 3.
That's a 3. Okay.
Armor penalties, man.
Truth, yes. He's going to immediately turn and shush you. Fairly loudly.
I'll just, once the second I get inside the window, I'm just going to shut it and wait there so I'm not clanking and making noise.
Okay. He says, I have no idea where we need to be looking. So we're just going to keep our eyes peeled and look for what might be a study or something, or a bedside table?
Unless you want us to get caught, you're gonna have to look and just yell if you need help.
What?
I said, unless you want us to get caught, you're gonna have to look and just yell if you need help.
I probably will. But hopefully there's nothing in here but air and dust and furniture.
So he has no family or anything that could be here?
Have you met him?
Only briefly.
Yeah, he doesn't have family. But it should be empty. We could split up if you want.
Like I've said twice now, I should stay here unless you want us to get caught.
Okay.
Armor is not quiet by any means.
Okay. I will go ahead. He's looking around for a while. And then he comes over and says, "Hey, I think I found something."
What'd you find?
You'll need to come and look at it with me. The trope of, you're going to want to take a look at this.
Alright. Clank, 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 clank.
Right. He says, "I'm fairly certain there's no one here, so we're good." He shows you a chest that he found in a back room that has some belongings that clearly are not Reeves. It's the clothing of two people that are not Reeve, and one of them bears the insignia of a political official. He says,
So it's got like a coat of arms on it?
It's got some sort of symbol on it. I don't know what that is. Do you have any knowledge of things that might be of this nature?
I got knowledge, nobility.
Hey, let's go with that.
Or religion, if that happens to apply.
It could.
Well, then I'll roll both, starting with nobility. That's a whopping 10.
Okay. Knowledge and ability, you said. It seems like the insignia of an official ambassador, but you can't quite place where they're from.
Yeah, but I can make a pretty good guess.
Yeah. A good enough guess that I might as well give you a bonus on the check. Yeah.
Starts with a D and rhymes with Schmolestad.
Yeah, probably. He points at the clothing of the other person and says, oh no, I'm gonna faint.
I look at it.
I can't stand the sight of blood. And there's a little bit of blood on one of them. It's in the chest, like there's a hole in the center of
I'm guessing it's like the smallest drop of blood or something.
Well, there's a hole in the chest, and there's just blood around the hole in the chest. Like an
Somebody
arrow,
shot
perhaps.
It's supposed to be in the knee.
Well, that was subtle. Well, this is certainly what we need, along with that paperwork. It proves he is at least complicit in the murder of 2 Dolostad officials.
It does seem like it, doesn't it? Did we take these items?
Depends. How grand of an entrance do you want to make at the trial?
Ooh, we're making an entrance in the trial. It's dramatic.
Well, we either take these and show them there, or we leave them here, him not knowing that we've been here, and we lead and take the risk that they'll somehow disappear, and lead them back here to show that they're in his possession, so that they're not just going to be produced.
Yes. Also, let's take stock of what exactly is in this chest.
Let's see, 2 robes.
Yes.
What else?
There's a full travel outfit for both. So it's a shirt and pants, and there's a backpack that's been emptied, and shoes, and a pair of gloves, and a dagger. The outfit that's not the diplomat has the blood in the center. The diplomat clothing does not have blood on it.
Hey, Rook, you know I need that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, after this is over, I think we could, confiscate the, pack and dagger.
We could do something with that. Yes. I could make it happen for you.
Yeah.
Around that time, a door in the house slams shut.
Oh, boy.
Bail!
How am I supposed to bail? All I do is clank.
Abort, abort, abort!
I think that's the back door. And we might have time if we run quietly, we could get out the front door.
But we need to close this so he doesn't know we've been here.
I guess we could also just wait and see what happens.
Well, like, no, I'll say, you can make a move for the exit. I'm gonna close this. Like, because I gotta get this put back the way it was, otherwise he's going to, okay. I'll tell you, otherwise he's gonna know we've been here and as evidence will be next to useless. So, yeah, I guess I need to move silently after I put the stuff back the way it was.
Yup.
What's closer, the front door or the window that we unlocked?
You're closer to the front door.
All right, I'll quietly say, just take the front door, unlock it on your way out, and we can lock it behind us.
Okay, I will do that.
All right.
You got this, Rook. I have absolute faith in your -4.
So that's a 10. So that's something.
In total?
Yes, in total.
It's a good roll.
You definitely snuck past the deaf guy.
Okay, so the two of you head out the front door, and he closes the door as quietly as he can. The chest is closed and whatnot. He says, should we peek in the window and see who it is?
I'd rather not give them any way to spot us.
Fair enough, fair enough. So what do we do? What do you want to do?
Well, if we can get the, I suggest we get the other foreman and the two of you go and arrest Reeves. You have the evidence you need.
Oh, the hitch there is the third foreman is currently on a trip.
Okay, then what would it take for you to be able to arrest him? Do you have to just wait till he gets back, or is there no rule for one foreman dealing with another?
If I can get the militia on my side, it shouldn't be a problem.
Any idea what that would take?
Maybe a dramatic entrance?
Well, I've always been rather diplomatic. Let's see what I can do.
So this is around when the trial commences again, recommences. There's a group of militia members that are currently standing here in a lineup waiting for Fredegar to choose someone. Fredegar, I want you to make some sort of roll to perceive who the best choice might be.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm gonna make a local knowledge check.
Okay.
Alright, that's a 17 plus 4. I got a 21.
Okay, the blacksmith is the most straight shooter that you've ever met in this town.
We'll pick the blacksmith.
He grunts and says, all right. And what do you want me to do?
We need you to tell us whether or not you think finding something counts as stealing it.
I don't know. I don't think so. Reeve says, hold on. We need to call him as a witness to the stand. We need to swear him in.
Gotta follow procedure.
Okay, I walk back to, I'll go ahead and call the blacksmith to the stand, but then I'm just gonna, look back at the jury and wink.
You
like,
mean
you already
Reeve?
know.
Jury's Reeve.
I have been playing this all wrong.
Don't wink at Reeve. He doesn't deserve
Actually,
it.
I'm gonna wink at Reeve.
Oh god.
He seems confused. He does
Power
not wink
move.
back.
He has not earned your love.
So Reeve quickly swears him in. Just basically, are you so help you Paylor, will you tell the truth? And he says, yeah, of course I will. He sits down and says, okay, let's do this.
Mr. Blacksmith,
Mr.
is it your
Smith,
belief
please.
that if someone finds something not in the possession of another person, that they have stolen it?
What, like a coin on the ground?
Sure, just for...
What do I do with the coin afterwards?
It's up to you. You found it.
Well, did I see someone drop it?
No, you don't know it. You know of no persons this could belong to.
Reeve is agitated in his seat. Smith says, so I pick up a coin, I don't see no one dropped it, I just see the coin and now it's mine, right?
Does that seem reasonable to you?
Yeah, I get a coin.
I wink at Reeve again.
Reeve does not wink back.
No further
One of
question.
these days. I'm wearing him down.
This will be the first fan fiction we get.
Yes.
Oh, please no.
Shipping Fredegar and the corrupt Foreman.
Stop flirting with the criminal.
Is there anything else you need from me?
No, you've been a great help. Thank you.
Thanks, sweetheart. We have a love triangle.
Sweet thing.
Reeve huffs very loudly, irritatedly, and says, please call your third witness to the stand.
Okay. And for my third witness...
I have a gut feeling. Call Rook to the stand.
Wait, what's the... Crap, I forgot the, Conner. Can I dramatically call Foreman Conner to the stand?
Well, he's not there. Calling Conner or Rook to the stand would call attention to the fact they're not here.
That's true.
I was hoping that would be the cue for their dramatic entrance.
In 3, 2, points at the door. No, can I make another local knowledge check?
Sure.
Just to see who might be helpful?
I can tell you who's available.
Oh, cool. Because my local knowledge check was 8.
Can you
Okay.
remind us who we have already spoken to, like who was giving us the testimony before?
The first witness was just a random person that says that they were at the tavern.
But they didn't witness the event in question.
They did not see you take a paper.
Okay.
Then he saw everything else pretty clearly, but he
What if
was
you-
led all the way through the questioning.
Right. What if you call one of, freaking, our Alpheus's goons here?
Make a spot check.
Okay, that might not be terrible. Let's see here. Spot. There. Plus 3. 16. Did the DM die?
No, I'm waiting for Sarah to stop talking.
Oh.
Hey, did you say something?
I said that I rolled a 16.
On
Spot?
spot. Yes. With the 16, you notice that for some reason, well, obviously Alpheus wouldn't be here because he's supposedly going to spend a fair amount of time in jail and then exiled from the community.
I don't think that doesn't make me happy.
Right, but also you do not see his goons who were not on trial. They're not here.
Oh well, I just thought that would just be poetic.
Right. Who you do see, other than Barton, is a few other random townspeople that you recognize from the brawl, who may have punched someone near you. You may have punched them. Who knows?
Ooh. I like tap on Fredegar's shoulder excitedly, say, Call Barton as a character witness.
I guess that can't go any better or worse than any of the rest of this has gone, so that'll work. We'll call
Already
Foreman.
proved the important stuff.
Yeah.
As you are discussing this, that you're going to call this person to the stand, that's when, according to the Discord pictures, I'll pull them up here real quick. We've got Superman, got Aragorn, that Derek has been putting into the Discord. That's when we get an Aragorn of the front doors being pushed open by Rook, who is followed by Foreman Conner. And Foreman Conner's sort of following Rook's lead on this situation, but he'll be all official if he needs to.
And once again, immigrant song starts playing.
Right.
Bardcore immigrant song.
We gotta make that so we can use it.
Yes.
I think we did lose our music, though. Hang on. I can fix this.
Did we?
It's because you didn't loop it.
I didn't
Oopsie.
loop it.
Oh, you gotta loop it. It's okay, I got this.
Okay. You can pick the tunes.
I mean, I was just gonna go back to what we had, because I don't want to accidentally grab something that's licensed. And it seems that whenever I go off my normal playlist, I always manage to snag something that's licensed.
I usually go with the Skyrim Exploration Suite.
Yeah, that's what I went with.
Unless you want to go with like Law and Order or something.
I don't know if that's fair use yet or not. Do 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 do.
Ooh, we should pull the audience. Which is probably just you guys.
I was gonna
I'm
say, I
just
think
doing
we
my
are the
acapella
audience.
version.
Oh, Gina's
of
here too.
Law and Order.
Pull the audience.
I'm just gonna throw in like Careless Whisper.
Careless White.
Is that a yes or a no?
Why Careless Whisper?
Because it's awesome. I
Okay,
don't know.
fine.
I mean, you had Fredegar trying to hit on the Foreman, and now you got the other Foreman here, and there's going to be a love quadrangle or something going on. Just feels right.
So I'm polling the audience what song best fits today's session.
Oh my goodness.
And Gina's been listening, so she can vote as well. But yeah, we've got Rook and we've got Foreman Conner coming in while Tristan comes up with the music. And Connor's willing to... Oh, no. No. Why Tristan?
Because I am a terrible person.
Gina and I were just talking about that song earlier this week. Basically, Rook, Foreman Conner will follow your lead unless you want him to bust out with the whole, like, Foreman Reeve, you're under arrest, but he's worried that if we jump a gun on that part of it, that he will not be able to obtain the help of the peoples to help actually physically arrest him. So he wants you to lead for now.
Then I guess I'd be making it a bit less of a dramatic entrance since I need to get in there first to convince the militia that we need their help.
And Gaz and Fredegar, you have not called a witness yet.
Oh, we were about to.
You were
and then
about
the door
to.
dramatically.
The doors are now open, and Rook says,
Like I'd walk up, on the way over, I would have asked Foreman Conner what the head of the militia looks like, so I could try and talk to him and convince him to back us.
he points out the blacksmith and says, for all intents and purposes, they'll listen to Mr. Smith.
then I would go up and just like take a seat in the gallery or whatever it's called next to Mr. Smith. Ugh.
So you're
Name's
sitting
a bit
next to
on the
Smith now.
nose.
So these two men enter dramatically, look around, walk over into the gallery, and just sit down. Like,
Yeah, Foreman
What are you
Reeve has noticed you coming in and seems somewhat agitated, and he seems ready to say or do something about the fact that you both have come in here and are now sidling up to Mr. Smith.
do I have scraps of paper and things to write with?
Do you need it?
Possibly.
I'm sure you can find something.
Okay, I want to write something like wad it up and just whip it at Rook's head.
You've got Barton sitting right behind you.
Oh. Can he get over to Rook? I'll just be like, tell Rook, he's got the foreman order a mistrial. Wait, I don't have the information he has. Come on. I want Barton as my character witness still.
Okay, are we calling Barton as your witness?
As far as I know, I
Yeah,
haven't
I
been given
think-
any of the information that can help just end the trial. So it's
Okay.
mostly just like weird, worried looks going around the room.
Foreman Reeve
Yeah.
says, and it's very clear Rook can hear this, so now he's caught up to speed on the trial. Defense, you will call your final witness.
Guess I better make this fast. I'd like to talk to Mr. Smith and say in hushed tones, we have Foreman Conner and I have evidence that should lead to the arrest of Foreman Reeves. But in the absence of Foreman, insert other Foreman's name here, because I would have asked Connor what it was on the way over.
Okay.
But in his absence, we need the militia to back us so that we can arrest him.
He turns and whispers, what are you talking about? Foreman Reeve, arrest? I don't understand.
I'll have Connor produce one of the document mentioning the burial of the two people. It's like,
He's looking at it and he says, this is odd. Foreman Reeve says, I will have order in this courtroom. If there's anyone to
it's not
speak,
like I'd be disrupting the court.
he's observing. He's basically trying to eavesdrop on what you're doing. He sees an exchange of a paper, and he's angling for getting you arrested for disrupting the trial. So he loudly proclaims that the only people allowed to speak are the defense, the prosecution, and witnesses.
I'm gonna elbow Fredegar and say, call them before they get kicked out. They must have something.
Defense, you will call your final witness.
I'm gonna go ahead and call. You said Foreman Conner was willing to get official, right?
Yes.
Well, then I think that might be our best bet here, because at least the blacksmith would know him and might trust what he says.
And you're not aware of how the investigation went, but you know an investigation of Foreman Reeve has at least been going on.
Right. And so if he shows up, I must think that he's got something.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. So
I
you were
wouldn't assume he showed
calling
up with nothing. So I'll call Foreman Conner to the stand.
Foreman
When I
Reeve
hear him
says-
called, I'll pass Connor the paper back since he's going to
Okay.
need it.
Okay. Foreman Reeve says, this is most unusual.
I wink.
He does not wink back. It is still unrequited.
One of these days.
There is no quieting. or requiting. Foreman
Yes,
Conner looks
I'm the
up,
one quieting.
and Rook hands him the paper. Says, what, me? Oh. So he gets up and he gets sworn in. And you can tell that Reeve is not happy about what's going on right now. And Conner tucks the paper into his pocket and sits down. But he makes sure that Fredegar sees the paper.
Bring him up to speed.
I mean, yeah, I guess our argument here is that if he found it and wasn't aware of who it belonged to, and it doesn't say that it belongs to anyone, can it be considered stealing?
So that's the gist of what you've asked?
Yeah, basically.
Conner says, well, of course not. If there's no name on a paper and you just find it, it can't be considered stealing.
Then do we have any reason to be here questioning the character of our Mr. Gisarm?
You are aware, though, Conner was not here for the first 3 witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some lines of questioning that he is not aware of.
If I may make some suggestions to my counsel. I guess I'm asking the DM more than I am.
Yeah. You could call him over to you.
Yeah. Just call him back. Say, he wasn't here, so you need to explain what we've already learned from the other witnesses and make sure that he understands that the trial is currently still focused on trying to prove that I am guilty of a crime. And so far, none of the witness testimony has corroborated that I am. And so he, as one of the foremen, has final say on this kind of stuff. So he can ultimately determine if the testimony we've been given is, accurate and to be followed. And if he has anything else he wants to say, you can ask for it.
I will basically just recap that the argument being made so far is that he stole the document based on the exchange that happened in the tavern. And then, yeah, just catch him up to speed on that. As a foreman, we're calling on his authority to settle a matter for us.
Okay. He takes it and runs with it. He's not an idiot. He's just when he was working with Rook, he was out of his element a little bit. He takes that and runs with it. He says, "So let me get this straight. We've established so far in the trial that there was no witness to any sort of thievery, no proof thereof, and also the document in question does not have a name on it, so it applies to whoever holds it." Is that where we're at?
That would be correct, yes.
So why is the trial still going on? Which is met by snickering in the crowd.
I'm just
a great
smiling.
question.
The case should be dismissed. Of course, that's where Reeve says, "I will say whether a case is dismissed or not." He's losing control of the crowd. Now I'm reading what Derek is sending here to Mr. Smith. He's just slipped him a note. He nods, of course, to
There's one more line to the note I forgot. There's one more line to the note I forgot to write, which
Okay.
I'm adding now.
Okay. I'm just watching the Superman gif over and over.
Just watching the Aragorn gif over and over.
I mean, that was an awesome part of the Two Towers. That's how you walk into a room when you're going to show the king that you totally didn't die when you fell off a cliff. Yes, perfect. Okay. He reads your note. Should I read it aloud on the stream?
It's up to you if you want. You probably should just for the audience's information.
Right. The note says, "Mr. Smith, Foreman Conner and I have found evidence proving that Foreman Reeve is guilty of hiding a murder of a Dolostad official and giving him immunity to Alpheus for a bribe. We need your backing to arrest him in the absence of the third foreman." Mr. Smith turns and nods resolutely, like, "This is surprising, but I am behind you 100%. That's the point where Foreman Conner has gained the crowd, basically, and says, as a matter of fact, I have a piece of paper here that might be of interest. Anyone wants to see it, perhaps? Maybe,
I'll give him a thumbs up to know that we have the backing.
He says, Fredegar, would you mind reading this paper aloud to the crowd?
The one about the covered up murder?
Yes, it basically says, it's 2 papers. One says it's a transaction between Alpheus and Reeve, dated just over 2 months ago, and it's a hefty sum of gold, 1,000 gold, for an unknown. It doesn't specify what the transaction was for. And the other piece of paper is a fake name of a relative in a nearby town, and supposedly 2 dead individuals who have been carted from here to there. So it doesn't matter.
Am I reading that?
It doesn't matter if your character really knows what these are. All he wants you to do is say what you see. What do your elf eyes see?
So we've got, almost said Councilman Foreman Reeve. So Foreman Reeve committed the murders or arranged the murders? I missed that part.
What you're seeing is very definitely Alpheus gave Foreman Reeve 1,000 gold just over 2 months ago, right before people knew who Alpheus was. And you know enough local lore to know that the timing of that. And the other paper is dated a week before that. 2 dead individuals who were taken from Pepper's camp under cover of night. The time is on there that it was past midnight, from here to a nearby town with a made-up name.
Okay.
All he
so
wants you to do
basically,
is just state the fact of what you see.
yeah. So what we've got is, crap, I keep getting the names mixed up. Foreman Reeve has killed these 2 people on Alpheus's behalf, so that Alpheus can gain the diplomatic immunity he needs to overthrow this town.
Objection, speculation.
He points at the other paper and says, and what about that one? That one's dated, what can you say the date on there? How long before this one that you just looked at, the transaction? How long before that one is this other one?
Oh. Did we say...
It's
okay, so
roughly
the
a
first
week or
one's
2.
2 months old, and then the other one's about a week or 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll point out the date on this one is from 2 months ago, and that the date on this paper explaining the transportation and burial of the bodies is a week after that.
I'm stating the commotion level of the audience, the chat. Commotion level 3, now commotion level 5. And
Oh boy.
And he says, "Are you familiar with the insignia of an official of Dolistad?"
I'll make a knowledge nobility check.
Okay.
Busted. That's a 19.
Okay. I'm gonna send something to Derek real quick. He says, now you do know the insignia of an official of Dolistad, correct?
I would assume so.
Yes, the check was high enough.
Sweet. Yes, I do.
He points out Rook and says, "Rook, could you tell me what the insignia looked like on the clothing that we found, located in a chest in Foreman Reeve's house?"
It was a lion perched on a mountain.
Now, Fredegar, could you describe to me the insignia of a Dolistad official?
Well, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say it looks like a lion perched on a mountain.
It does indeed. Emotion level 9.
Chicka-blow.
And Foreman Reeve says, just what is this line of questioning intended to accomplish? Anyone can speak up.
I think we're moving for mistrial on the grounds that you, sir, are on the take and no longer work doing your due diligence for the good of this town.
Foreman Conner eyes Rook, makes eye contact with Rook, and is mouthing, now?
I nod.
Okay. He stands up and says, Foreman Reeve, you are formally under arrest, under suspicion of murder, 2 murders, actually, and conspiracy to undermine the political security of Trapper's Camp, and corruption. So he motions to you and Mr. Smith to go and make the arrest.
That's the fun part of my job.
All I need is a strength check.
Works for me. Did not roll in the box, but it still counts. 17.
That is perfect. The 2 of you put him in binds and cart him off. The entire building is in an uproar. And then pretty much everyone follows outside, and they are putting the dots together that in some way, Foreman Reeve is to blame for this protection racket that has been draining their pockets for the past 2 months. They are now jeering at him, throwing things at him. When you get outside, very soon you hear a voice that says, you're not going to take him any farther.
I assume it's Alpheus or one of the thugs?
It is totally Alpheus and his thugs. They are leaving Foreman Reeve's home, and they are walking up on the street, and the crowd sort of splits, and now it is a standoff between those 3, Rook, Gas, Fredegar, Barton, and Foreman Conner.
I think...
You are not allowed here. I'll say, pointing my sword at him.
And what are you going to do about it? I'll repeat, you are not going to put him in binds.
Too late for that.
Control of Trapper's Camp is mine, and there's nothing you can do to change that.
Wanna bet? Let me put it to you this way, roll initiative.
Sounds good to me. Going to pull up the initiative thing.
Was the supposed to put them in binds?
Oh yeah, they were totally, they were already kicked out of Trapper's Camp. So somehow they're already...
18.
I got 14.
14.
Okay.
What's your plus bonus there, Fredegar?
I don't think I... Oh, I do have. +3, so I'm at a 17.
Okay. I will make my rolls. Boop, boop, boop. What?
How'd you do?
I don't like that at all.
That's how I did.
I hear that's how I did, but I see no rolls anywhere.
It's on the screen. A 1, a 1, and a
There we
3.
go.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
It's terrible.
Guess my stream's behind, because I still don't see it.
I see it. You might want to refresh.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull it back up on the screen then. I'll get all this sorted out.
No, it's okay.
Well, I can see it now.
There you go.
So they all go last. Awesome.
So 18, 17, 14. We said that we have Barton, Smith, and Conner as well.
Okay, here's what it's going to look like. Pull up a grid, but for now it does not seem like I will need to. But Rook, you are totally first, and everyone has their weapons out.
I will move to Alpheus and strike
Perfect.
with a power attack.
Oh, snap.
Only allowed to take a -1, so a total of +4 as opposed to +5. Let's see what we get. Does a 15 hit?
Yes.
Max damage.
How much is that?
16 points of slashing damage.
That's a big hit.
Holy.
It's a great sword. What do you want from me?
It's a big hit.
I don't know if he's still standing. Oh, you downed this guy in one hit.
All right, so decapitation.
Okay, I'm fine with that. He, I want you to take a look at his cape. The one he always likes to wear.
Okay.
Make a spot check.
I got a 16 on die. Let me hunt down my spot check. Spot is 0, so 16.
Take a wild guess what insignia is on his cape.
Double study.
The Dolstad emblem.
Yeah, the eagle on the mountain.
I assume it looks like it was just ripped off of the clothes from the house.
Yeah,
Wait, there's an eagle on a mountain or a lion on a mountain?
an eagle on a mountain. Wait, I don't remember
Oh,
now.
I thought it was a lion.
You said
It's
lion
a lion on
earlier.
a mountain.
Oh yeah, it's a
According to what
lion
you
perched
sent
on
me,
a
it's a
mountain.
lion.
Sorry, eagle is Mexico. Yeah, it's a lion on a mountain. And yeah, it totally looks like it matches the outfit of the official's clothing that's back in the house.
Like, I want to be clear on my question here. I'm not asking, does it look the same? I'm asking, is it the same? Does it look like it was basically ripped off of the clothes that were in that house?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, it matches that outfit better than it matches his. Before we get to Fredegar's initiative, Rook, can you make an intimidate check for me?
I certainly can. While I am mighty, I apparently am not intimidating. That's a 3 with a natural 1.
Okay, so there's still incentive for the lackeys to continue fighting because they believe it is fight or flight and they're choosing fight at this moment. So Fredegar, you're going to go next.
A grid, so I
The
can
lackeys are off to the side from where they're on either side.
one that Fredegar just plugged.
Okay. See if that hits. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's only a total +6. A total 6.
Okay, we're gonna go lackey 1, lackey 2. Does not confirm the crit. I need to know, Fredegar, what is your AC?
Request a grid then.
They are not.
17.
It's not melee combat. They're using bows.
AC 17.
I don't actually know why I asked. It was an at 20, and then I rolled to confirm and rolled a 3. With a short bow, you take 1 damage.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's just shooting arrows back and forth. Lackey 2 also missed. Or B is up there. But he straight up just throws his bow in the ground. Because there's no way you're taking me alive. That always goes
We don't intend to.
right.
I'd like to look to Foreman Conner and say, "That all right with you?"
Taking him alive? No.
Taking him alive is not alright with him.
That's what I heard.
Maybe he just shrugs and is like, I don't care.
Oh my goodness. Frontier justice, man.
Look out, our paladin has permission to kill.
I mean, apparently he's sick of this guy, so if something were to happen to him, it sure would be unfortunate.
I mean, he's the one choosing to fight and die. That's his choice.
I mean, Rook, you're up next, so let's see what happens here.
Another
I could
Capacitate.
take them a lackey, but I'll let you guys deal with that. I'll move back to the foreman. And make a power attack.
Okay.
Uh, 12 to hit, but I assume that hits because he's not wearing armor.
You are correct.
All right, that's a total of, let's see, 13 points of damage. Again, it's a great sword. This is what it does.
Well, let me go ahead and take Foreman Reeve off the initiative order. Can you describe the nature of his demise?
I'll cut off his sword arm.
Oh, dang.
So if somebody wants to keep him alive, they can. If not, he can bleed out.
He's laying on the ground bleeding out at the moment.
I'll wink at
Fredegar,
him.
it's up to you now. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna wink.
He doesn't
Just
wink
kidding, I'm gonna
back.
shoot him.
He's bleeding. Are you shooting Lackey A, or are you shooting the guy who's laying on the ground bleeding to death?
I got a nat 20. Can I shoot him in the eye?
You're shooting the guy laying on the ground?
Yeah. So he winks at me.
It does not confirm, because the flat-footed only puts him down to... Well, puts him down to 10, but then it puts him up to 12 because you're shooting at him from range.
Yeah, prone is a good way to be if you're in a ranged combat situation, because it makes it harder for them to hit you.
Even if I'm closer to the ground?
Unless
I'm a halfling.
you're adjacent to him, and I mean squares wise, it gives him plus AC.
Closer to the ground already gives you the +1. So what's your damage, and that'll determine how badly you've hurt him.
We've got a 2. Yeah, I don't have anything for that. Yeah, 2.
2 damage. Okay. And you're aiming for his eye.
Impressive.
I'll settle for a shoulder.
Into his eyelids.
He's bleeding out, so... And he's on the ground, and you shoot to his eye. Get him in the neck. And now you don't have to hear him
Nice.
gurgling as much.
Ugh.
But, you know, that's the end of that guy. And Lackey A is determined that he's going to die either way, so he is still fighting. So now it's Gaz's turn.
Gaz is just gonna say, he's just gonna look at all the death around him and knock an arrow on his short bow and aim down at the guy and say, "Now would be a really good time for you to find a new career."
Diplomacy.
I can roll that. That's a 19 on the die.
It throws his bow down, and now suddenly both lackeys are very talkative and telling you all the things they can tell you about what was going on with Alpheus and Reeve. Not that it matters anymore.
Including where they took the evidence.
Oh, they can tell you everything.
Alright, making sure.
So we can remove Alpheus and Reeve from this cast list.
Yes. I believe that has been taken care of.
Yeah.
You murderized them.
So,
Again, it's a
We
great
unalived
sword. It
them.
has one job.
upon questioning of the two lackeys with the cockneys, you basically get that at some point an official was coming through here. Conner made them not Conner, Reeve made them disappear.
Yep.
And then Alpheus paid for the paper, and then the two of them got in a league where he basically sold out his own town.
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty evident, but that's basically what happened.
That was the conclusions we've reached, but now they've just been confirmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever that other foreman's name is, he's gonna have a lot to deal with when he gets back from his trip to wherever.
Right, and also you got all these scattered townspeople who just saw two people just die horribly.
Well, at least now I don't have to deal with Alpheus sneak attacking us on the road like I thought we were going to.
Right. And it really doesn't run any deeper than that. It was just Foreman Reeve wanted to sell up Trapper's Camp, so he went and hired one of his friends to come and pretend to be a diplomat.
Where was that guy's money coming from?
And
That goes deeper than that, guys.
I mean, it could, but the guys you're questioning were hired after that fact, and they were hanging out north of the
Just
Great
go find the
Forest.
disembodied head of Alpheus and start questioning it out of its line of credit.
Some of the secrets are lying in the gravel.
They are the two lackeys are from north of the Great Forest. They were in the town north of Trapper's Camp when Alpheus hired them, and they were the ones that were kind of pulling the strings for the bodies to go there. And then from there, they went in circles around Trapper's Camp and collected payments, and they also hired a trapper to help out with that. Some guy named Barton.
Mm-hmm. Saw that coming. But I take it he reneged on their agreement and tried to go straight.
Yes, if you talk to Barton about it, he'll even apologize personally to Fredegar for his involvement in their altercation. And he'll say,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, he was not comfortable with what was going on, but he was desperate, and eventually he stopped justifying it and tried to quit. At which point, since part of his quitting was trying to steal their health potions, they punched him in the face and took his stuff.
Well, I would like to address Foreman Conner and say, now that we have given you a viable solution to the corruption problem in Trapper's Camp, we do have other places we need to be. However, it would be useful if, in recompense for services rendered, you could perhaps provide us with a bit of equipment to see us on our way safely.
I can give you almost anything you need.
Excellent. I just need a few small things for myself. Rook, you need
Yep.
anything in particular?
I mean, there's a few things I could use. A sturdy rope would be good, as I've noticed my pack is lacking such things.
And Fredegar.
I suppose I'll just be needing rations so that I can get back on the road to Had, where I am still trying to deliver mail.
And
Go
more
ahead
trail.
and Had. Well, I wanted to say thank you for acting as my legal defense here. Given the situation we found ourselves in, it was a lot to put on you all at once. You say you're headed to Had?
Yes, as a mail carrier.
Blinks at you a few times. Where is Had in relation to where we're headed?
You're heading into you're heading to Gamut along the road that is several days travel into the province of Had. He needs to head to one of the large cities, he doesn't know which, that is big enough that they can accept this parcel and then take it the rest of the way.
Would Gamut be on the way to all of these large cities?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, if you're heading out of town in that direction too, perhaps you would like company on the road?
I'd never turn down another set of hands.
I feel like we've had, a day to forge some trust here, and it seems to me, from our prior experience out in the wastelands here, that it is not quite safe, even just from a wildlife perspective. So, it seems that you are trustworthy and capable and quick thinking, all qualities that I value in a traveling companion, none of which the Rook embodies, but that's fine. You can make up for that.
I would never turn down a traveling companion.
Not exactly slow thinking.
What was that, Rook?
You heard
Your
me.
response was so late in that I wasn't sure which part of the conversation you were referring to.
Fine. Next time. Excuse me. Next time you're in custody, I'll let you stay there.
I mean, I wouldn't have been in custody if I hadn't been told I wouldn't stay that way by somebody who had authority. In any event, so can I work with? Can I just like name some items I would like, and you can tell me if he can provide me them or not?
We can do it now, or you could just send it to me in a message and we can take care of it afterwards.
That's